Welcome to Football Night with DaisyBlossom, my friend here. Hey, we're going to surprise you with football talk tonight. I just threw a Battleship in the background just to mess with everybody. Hello.
Hi. Go,
Okay, you
go,
could talk.
go! Whoever's in the Super Bowl this year.
You know you could talk football. You 49ers fan.
My
But
49ers are not in the Super
I
Bowl.
know, but it doesn't matter. But you know your football. You know your American football. I know you are so partial to the wonderful world football. We know in the States as soccer.
Soccer.
Exactly. Well, welcome everybody. Dadman Walking 55 here, accompanied by the wonderful, gracious Princess of England herself, Daisy Blossom Flower Child. So, of course, I did not elevate you to queen based on your suggestions, but hey, we're back for At the Movies. A series we got going over a year ago, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's God, how time flies, but it's been a few months, so now we step off into new adventures in 2025. So, Daisy, how are you doing tonight?
Doing quite well, thank you. How's everyone doing? I don't
Uh,
see. I'm sorry. Right now, I'm trying to figure out why I can't pull us up on Twitch.
you are. I just saw you in the. You're in the
Yeah,
Twitch.
I
You
know, but
clicked
I
on.
can't. I can't see the broadcast. So,
Oh, it just.
hello.
It takes a few seconds. Just refresh it. You'll see it in a second. It happens to me all the time.
I
And you'll
know.
get to practice your mod skills a little bit later because the last few Twitch streams we've had somebody telling us that they got such a great offer for us. So,
Oh, wow, God, my modding skills are so rusty. We are in deep trouble, chat.
well, here at Dead Man Walking 55, we put everybody to work. We test everybody's skills. We even test the Mrs. Patience with me many times. So, speaking of the missus, do not forget at 10 o'clock tonight, we will be live again with the Mrs. and West Cago, and you never know if a few others may sneak along for the ride. But hey, we shall go. Daisy, what have you been up to since we last met? Probably was it November, or we didn't do December. We I think the last one was in November, right?
Oh, I thought it was October. Was it
Or is
November?
it that long ago? October? Okay,
I
wow,
think it might have been October because
we have
the end of November was our anniversary.
you and your mister's anniversary, right?
Anniversary, yes,
Right.
not yours and
Okay.
mine. No.
Not a show anniversary. No. Okay. All
Yes,
right.
no.
Yeah. No. We got to
Uh,
be clear of this because of people out there going for clickbaits and clips.
oh, okay, I got it. Well, let's be very honest. Well, I think everyone knows that as well as my husband and I celebrating our anniversary, that our son got engaged in November.
Yay.
Yay!
Yay.
And
Liam.
then Liam, that would be Liam, and
Yep.
he was engaged to Ashy Slashy. And
Who have both appeared on the channel, folks. Y'all might have remembered their names at times. So,
yeah, they're
sorry.
Twitch streamers like
Yes.
Liam and I are. And then in December, Liam and I went on a literal cross country road trip to take his car from here in Nevada to where he's going to live on the other side of the United States. And so, yeah, we passed through a bunch of different states and saw sights and did stuff. And that's why we didn't stream in December. And so now we're
How was that trip,
in an
though?
entirely new year. And here we are.
But how was that trip? I mean, did y'all see any cool sights along the way?
We actually did. We made a tactical error. We should have left a couple days earlier, and then we would have made multiple stops. However, the two big things we did is in Oklahoma City, we went to the memorial site and museum in Oklahoma City. And then, because I'd never been to any of the presidential libraries, we stopped
Mm-hmm.
in Little Rock, Arkansas, and
Mm-hmm.
went to the President Clinton Library.
Oh, interesting. We actually stopped at Jimmy Carter in Plains, Georgia when we were coming
Gotcha.
back from Colorado. Yeah. We did it for a book stamp thing, but plus it was end of the day. It was like, yeah, we were ready to get home, get off the road too. But yeah, it's
Oh,
really cool.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading chat. Fallout Dave. So you played with would be Liam Greywolf and Ashy Slashy 4
Yeah, I think you did.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to get the stream out in one more place. So
cool.
my skills of multitasking failed miserably compared to you. You're
I
awesome.
also like, where did I see it? Somebody in chat made the comment. Um, favorite Navy training video for
Oh, that
accuracy.
was
Yes.
Fallout
Oh,
Dave
yes.
earlier. I saw that. So
Yes.
why don't we
Yes.
go ahead and
Fallout.
greet the chat, shall we?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, folks,
Let's go.
let me before as I go to get in this. I love my embellished introductions, but I mean every word I say of this about my friends. Right? Daisy
That depends on
Blossom.
what you're about to say about your friends.
Well, folks, I will tell you, the great Daisy Blossom is definitely a friend of our family. We met Daisy about a year ago, just over a year ago, in real life, which makes it even more amazing. And she's as kind and as gracious in real life as you hear behind the microphone. And I look at the movies as a time of hanging out with my friend, just messing around in good ways, and kind of being able to show some snark, show some opinion. And I tell you what, she's got a dark sense of humor too. If you've not witnessed it, it will come out eventually. So if you've not met Daisy, if you've not listened to her, you're in for a real treat. Now that I completely embarrassed you, Daisy.
Lies.
What?
You were
Lies.
saying that I'm a nice person and all that,
Yes.
and I'm going,
Yeah.
lies, lies.
She keeps saying that she cusses and stuff, and I'm like, no,
I
you
do.
don't. No, you don't. And this damn thing
Well,
about you
okay.
being a rock
You
drummer
just
and a heavy metal person.
ask Liam Grey Wolf and Ashy if I swear, and they will
Okay.
say, yes, yes, she does. Just not when I'm streaming.
Good. You're very good. I will tell you. But hey, I refuse to believe it. Like being a drummer in a rock band. They did that one also gets me. But let's go ahead and say hello to the chat. We'll introduce you to we do have some new faces, Daisy. Legatus Legionize is here with us tonight, batting leadoff in that spot. Of course, Daisy's here with us too. Fallout Day, Mr. Fortnite, one of the great Fortnite players around here. Hangs out with us, comes on some of our streams at times. Actually, he loves the Lego building like the missus does, and he's like addicted to it. But he popped on the stream with her the other night.
One. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, and so we're also over on the chat, the Twitch side. Make sure you like us over there as Finity comes up with his bucket of popcorn. Good to see you tonight, Finity, the timey-wimey limey. Great to have you, and stunning, as always, comes in with boobs. It's either boobs or butts, but stunning is great. Yeah,
I don't think that the Battleship Missouri has boobs, but maybe.
Not in the old days, before in the old Navy. Fallout Dave said, "Looking forward to the favorite Navy training video accuracy. Only to be up there with Under Siege, I believe, probably. So
don't mess with the cook."
Yes, yeah, and you did, yes. And Dave said, "Congrats to that." So no, actually, we did. We hit one of those gas stations when we were up in Colorado. Yeah. Oh gosh, and Dave said, yeah, and they didn't even blow each other up. Maybe now they're engaged.
No, they blow each other up. They just weren't when you were playing. They routinely shoot at each other.
Oh, Dave said that you know what to expect when I'm about to say something.
Yes. That and when he multitasks, chat.
Yeah.
When Dadman is multitasking.
I don't know. I tell you, I have to. I mean. I had an old boss years ago that really ticked me off because I always said, you got to learn to multitask. I'm like, I can't do one thing. I can't do anything. But honestly, it's a skill I've had to, you can never master it. It's a skill I've had to not fight and learn to embrace. Like at work now, I mean, these young kids coming in, they can't handle two or more than one thing. And I'm like, looking at them, like, y'all got to speed it up because, it ain't gonna do itself, and it's just I've had to learn how to multitask out of necessity. Sometimes it fails.
I I was told by a boss that multitasking is doing multiple things badly at the same time.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. But the
Yep,
problem
we
is
all
that
agreed.
but the problem is that life and everybody else don't wait for you to do it one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, like us getting on to our talk about the movie tonight. So,
Yep.
but before we get on to it, let me remind you too that we are actually going to we'll have the late night with Dad Man at 10 o'clock night. Mrs. and Wes Cagle will be on with me, and that's as a current scheduled guest, good, but you never know who will show up. So, all right, well, let's take a look at this great, wonderful movie, Battleship.
Dun, dun, dun,
You know,
dun. Because it's wholly and completely accurate, chat.
absolutely.
My former naval husband and I watched it together, and of course he said, "Oh yes, all of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I just watched it for Brooklyn Decker. That's it. But that's. But
You just wanted to see the ship. Come on now."
yeah, I tell you, I would die. I would give anything to see a battleship recommissioned and see a broadside in real life. That just would be
That I just
that
like to
would
hear
be.
it. Wow, that would be
I
amazing.
I tell you, because we've been on the USS Alabama out in Mobile Bay. These ships are huge. They're big. Yeah, my damn family in-laws, those people. I call them those people because damn it, they're busy. We want to go eat. We want to go eat. I'm still not even freaking halfway down the ship yet. I'm up top, and it's like, let me. Anyway, sorry, that's another story. So. But I love my battleship. They're really cool. They are a dinosaur though. They truly are in the age of modern warfare. They really are a dinosaur. Even in World War II, they were starting to get dated with the advent of carrier aircraft and more aeronautical warfare. Now in the days of missiles where you don't even have to be within range of everybody.
You don't
They
have to be in the same country with the drone.
yeah, stunning. I like that. That's what I should have told him, to catch a fish. That's what I should have told him. That we were right on the water on Mobile Bay. Have you ever been out to Mobile Bay where the Alabama is?
No, we drove through Alabama. No, maybe not.
Well,
By then I don't remember. All those states started
Yeah.
to run into each other when we got over that way. So
Well, the road is right down on the water. It's that low to the
nice.
ocean. So yeah. So all right.
No,
Be sure to hit that.
I've seen the ships and the naval things on the West Coast.
All right. Well, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you have not yet. We are talking about the great movie Battleship. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions about it? We're going to talk about a little bit. It's been a month since we've done this, so we're winging it like we always do around here, and we will have fun with this to whatever extent that we can have. Filming actually did take place in Hawaii and on the USS Missouri. Missouri, the state, is affectionately known as Misery around here, but it's a 2012 American military science fiction action film. They said, you got the Hasbro at the beginning. It's based on the game, but it's like, can you really say this game was based on the board game when it's not like we're watching two guys walking around with their little battleship boards and all. This is actually.
I do have a couple notes on that.
Okay, go ahead, hit it.
Oh, now?
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, the my husband pointed out that if Noah had that many buoys all over the place, that none of the ships would be able to leave the harbor because they'd keep running into the Noah buoys.
Yep.
But if you pay attention, I noticed when the aliens shoot their form of missile, they actually have the shape of the pegs you use. If you have the game Battleship, you have the little red and white pegs. Those things they were firing looked a bit like the pegs.
They looked exactly like it.
They'd hit the ship, stop for a moment, and then bury themselves in and blow up. And I went, those look just like the pegs from the game. So they were trying. I,
I, I
loosely based on a board game.
maybe loosely based, but I can accept that. I can accept that because now that you mention it, it does look just like those. So that, but it's good to have some kind of connection to the game.
They were trying. They were trying. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
that's probably, Hasbro has so many games. This might not have been the one I tried to make into a movie, but
uh-huh.
I'm glad they did because it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I will
Since you mentioned, I want
rip it
to.
apart, but I still love it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to find one of those things because I had never even thought about that, but that is actually a
I didn't
very
actually think about it till today. And then while we were, going back and forth and talking about it, pausing and talking, I said, those do look like the pegs. And then my husband said, well, yeah, you're right. They do. Like you just put the peg in, and then you sunk my battleship or my destroyer. And they did try to make it look like the
uh,
grid, the
hmm
Noah buoys, the tsunami buoys.
right.
They did try to make that like the grid pattern.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll have to look up for that again a little bit later because I didn't find it because I that was really really interesting because you could say yeah it's loosely based on the board game with that in that case then so basically of course it features people like Liam Neeson. I have a set of skills.
Yes, he does.
That crazy. And
His set of
hey,
skills is, man, when he makes those faces and stares
mm-hmm,
at you, it's like, oh no, 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 no.
absolutely, yeah.
It's
That's a whole stream I could do on Liam Neeson's career and hip hop things. He did defeat. He may have gotten beat by Darth Maul, but his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi permanently ended Darth Maul, never to be live again. But anyway,
of course not.
let's say, look, Sashi's here, our friend from Malaysia. Yes, I don't know if you met
Hello and
Sashi, but
welcome.
hey, a Yarn Witch Live is here. Hello, friends.
Hello.
How are you? Watch out for that rascally rabbit. We had her on actually last Wednesday night at this time. So,
Mm-hmm.
and hey, the star of the late night show coming up tonight is Mrs. Dadman Walking. So, good to see you
Mrs.
too.
Hello.
Absolutely.
Everyone should go and subscribe to Mrs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As they say, criminally under subbed. So,
Of
but anyway,
course.
exactly. All right. Wow.
Yes.
All of a sudden people just
Sorry.
popped in like crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Happy Chinese New Year. Happy Lunar New Year to everyone.
Yes, Mrs. is actually, I think, doing something tomorrow about that. I think
Mm-hmm.
she's doing something in celebration to that, Mrs. Correct me if I am wrong with that, but thank you, for pointing that out. We
Mm-hmm.
have not done this stream in about 3 months, so we're kind of a little bit rusty, but we're like friends just hanging out, talking about the movie. If you've seen the 2012 Battleship, feel free to share your thoughts and opinions about this wonderful movie. And so, buddy, just stop,
Don't get us
please.
started, please. Please
I
don't
do
get
the
us started.
movies. You know what, Daisy? I got an idea for our movie for next month.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Let's watch
afraid.
The Phantom Menace.
Oh God.
Hey, at least I didn't say The Last Jedi.
I have. Well, then I would have just said, I quit. Goodbye.
Okay.
It's been nice knowing you.
Well,
I don't have the Phantom Menace. I'll figure it out.
Well, we'll figure something out. Hey, but maybe we can figure. I got an idea, but hey, we'll deal with that later. Atwood is here. Good to see you tuned tonight, Atwood.
Hello.
Yeah, I guess we gotta. Yes, he ran away. Anyway, just stop it. Yes, I tell you, Yarnwich, DaisyBlossom has one of the best laughs on YouTube, and she's up there with you, with the missus, with all your reactions. I tell you.
Oh God,
Yeah.
help us.
Yeah, we love the plans. Just but a scratch. Okay. Damn it, we're gonna.
Movie IMDb.
I know. Yes, Daisy is awesome. Daisy, like I said to people, we met Daisy in real life, and she is as special and sweet as you get here over the internet.
Lies.
No, I don't lie. I'm truthful Lucifer. You ask me no questions, I tell you no lies. Oh, damn it. See, now they're...
No,
Okay.
just ignore it. Ignore it.
Squirrel stream later
Stay
tonight,
on
10
target.
o'clock. Okay.
Devin,
Yes.
stay on target.
Yes.
Stay on target.
All right. Well, this movie's set up with, of course, what do we do as humans? We got this quest for deep space. We shoot a satellite. We, transmit to the stars, and we find a planet G, potentially habitable, like us. They all magically like us. They have our tolerances, but apparently they don't like our sunlight. So as we find out later, but of course they built all the towers up on Oahu out there. So we get that. Then we get an intro to our future hero of the movie, Alex Hopper. I will say, dude, I did this for the missus before, but nobody ever knows about that. I did have to I got tased once before because I had to go get her a burrito out of a convenience store. So
sure. Mm-hmm.
You don't believe that, do you? All right. Well, but Alex goes to impress this lady, and he gets the lady won't open up the minute market, so he gets in, gets it, outruns the cops, goes through tapes, hands her the burrito, and then we find out the next day that his brother is pissed at him because it's the Admiral's daughter, just conveniently running loose in Hawaii like that.
Very small, this Navy.
Yeah, very small. And the Navy, where you can sell the seven seas. Sorry, that's a bad song moment. So his brother's commanding the USS Samson. So we move into the part of the movie where they come together, many nations, even Malaysia. I recognize when they said like Japan, they said Malaysia, and I thought of Sashi out there immediately. So, Corey Cochran's here. Corey, good to see you. How are you doing? Good to see you tonight, Corey. Your Kentucky Wildcats up there. Gators are doing good. So, anyway, that's basketball. Rim pack exercises, but they talked about, Pacific countries, including Malaysia, in with this. And then we see all the talking heads come together. They realize, something 5x5 in a formation is coming straight to Earth. That's not good, is it? But it's amazing. No. It seems like they travel a lot faster than the aliens in Independence Day. They hit the satellites. They break apart. Parts go through China, even Scotland, England. And they even said even Iowa got
Iowa.
How about? That was like what the Iowa? What?
I know.
It was hilarious. Go ahead.
The thing is, they fly all the way across, have forever to get here, and they accidentally run into one of our satellites. Really?
Yeah, I know. I mean, and they were here to communicate, to set up communications.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we got plot holes right at the beginning. So, yeah, exactly. But it was one of the lines square the nuts. Yes. So, oh my God. Okay, come back at 10 o'clock and I'll have fun with that. All right. But hey, we will definitely squirrel. I mean, I might be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But
taste.
They crash. There's the object crashes in the Pacific. They dispatch the Samson, John Paul Jones, and a Japanese destroyer, the Miyoko, to go figure out what had happened over there. Meanwhile,
they were doing war games.
They were doing war games. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the ships that were closest to where the 4 objects that didn't break up landed.
And we also have this with the rival Japanese officer and Alex, in the soccer match, things like that. And
a little bit of peacocking going on.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little bit. Slightly,
especially in the bathroom while they're accidentally slipping on water and bashing their heads a couple of times. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And hey, Simply Steve, good to see you today. Oh, I don't know why I'm coughing tonight. I was like, oh, geez. Anyway, not sick though. Yeah. So, we can come back to that scene in a few minutes. So once the Alex and Rihanna and the chief go over the boat to investigate the big object. Alex touches the primary ship, and it seems to set off the big defense shield that ended up going up. Because then at that point, the carrier and all the other ships that are part of the war games are frozen out. And we see a pilot slam into the shields because we know in every good Hollywood movie, aliens have impenetrable shields, right? So, so the three ships are stuck in there, and yeah. So then we see, we see a little bit of the little peacocking between the ships and the aliens, and then finally, the one thing leads to another, and we have the warning horn. Then we shot across the bow, at which point we start to have shooting between both. Obviously, very quickly, the John Paul Samson is taken out very, very quickly. Alex makes it back to the ship, wants to ram them and all, but the Japanese destroyer fires to protect them, and then finally, with two ships down, he voids his command and picks up sailors in the water. Now, we'll stop here briefly, because we're seeing in this scene here where it's almost like Predator in a way, where as long as somebody's not shooting me, or well, except in this case they had weapons, but it was like as long as you weren't pointing the weapon at them, they're like, okay, no harm, no foul. What did you think of that? Because I mean, I know like in Predator, okay, because I think like in Predator it was like,
okay, in Predator, the Predator looked at an individual person, right? So when it looked at the lady, she didn't have a weapon. And it figured, okay, that's a non-combatant. There's no honor in taking someone out who doesn't have a weapon. These aliens landed. They already had two ships fire at them. And the little dinghy type thing, they were firing. Then, so the John Paul Jones is still a battleship. And just like the other two. So, and it hadn't turned away and gone away from them yet. I sat there thinking the aliens should just blow them out of the water. Because it's a possible threat. But then we wouldn't have a movie. So can't do that. Yeah, somebody's making fun of my calling it a dinghy.
No, thanks. I took care of that back at the office. That was a line in Naked Gun also. Like, you want to take a dinghy? No, I took one back at the station. So, yeah, but see, because it's like the Predator still viewed a weapon as you were still a threat. This one was kind of like, hey,
Yeah, as long as the weapons aren't trained on us and targeting, we're just going to ignore it, which does not seem...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Predator would have still killed her. It just assesses all combatants to form a hierarchy. True.
Yeah.
I took it to mean she just wasn't a threat. Like this alien, those incredibly cool round things that these aliens fire, the rolly ball things. When it came up to the kids playing baseball and assessed, went from red to green. That's kind of like what the Predator was doing. It assessed, well, this isn't really a threat to me, so I'm going to go take out things that are. Yeah. But a battleship is still a threat. Oh, that was a destroyer.
That was a guided frigate, I think, of some kind. I don't know. I think it was a guided missile frigate. I think those technically, but it's
still a warship.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of the thing that I did not have with that I lost a little believability, because to me it's like, well, it's the same type of thing that just shot at you. It's going down. I'm more like the Predator with it, Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sashi.
Oh, you call it a dinghy. And hey, Wes Cagle. We've already had Darth Maul talk. We might have more later tonight, Wes. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So feel free to share your thoughts and opinions with this great movie, Battleship, and our lovely, beautiful, wonderful British accent and laugh, DaisyBlossom.
No, I
Um,
don't have the British accent right now. I
well,
have the
you can do it,
American one.
but you got the great laugh. I always tell you. So, as we're seeing leading up to this too, we get introduced a little bit more to Sam, the admiral's daughter, and she's a rehab. She's a physical therapist. She's working with a double amputee. Who's really negative, really down on life, and with this, I thought they did pretty good, kind of with this
Um,
scene and developing the characters. And here, and they get stuck up on the island. You know, when
up in
the
the
attack,
hills.
yeah, up in the hills when it starts, because the security area and told them leave, clearing out. Which then we see the security guys get really violently taken out very quickly just after that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the two were hanging up on the island in the hills. Of course, they run across the scientist who was told to hunker down. I like what he said though. How do I do that? What the
Yeah,
military people told you to hunker down. That was also one of the things early in the movie is like, oh, that's not my job. Did you get? What about these people? And they looked at him. They're on the line, and they went to NASA looking at him. Hi, professor. And then next thing, well, this is the Pentagon, and then the deadpan. They're on the line. It's like,
I know.
holy
You
crap.
you would think that once this scientist came on, they would say these are all the people that are on this conference call instead of making him look like a complete and total idiot.
Yep. But hey, Fallout Dave's got the ultimate thing for movies. Never be a security guy in a movie.
Yep.
There you go. Only bad things happen. Only bad things happen. Sorry about that. So basically,
No
what we have is that John Paul Jones survives. They pick up survivors. They actually pick up one of the aliens in
Yep.
this, and they actually discover that the alien is sensitive to light. Um,
Well, that's kind
and
of clever how they determine that.
yeah, I mean, they ended up taking the alien's helmet
The
off.
helmet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was. But then again, we see real quickly there must have some kind of telepathy or something, because then the aliens come through, blow up a hole in the ship, in the backside, and rescue their comrade.
Yep. They leave no man behind.
Right. But they did leave one around to try to do further damage on the ship. I was trying to figure out if he was trying to sabotage ship or study the technology, because I know in the engine room the chief went after him, fought him off a bit, and then that's when we have Alex and Rihanna come by with some of the others who are cannon fodder in the movie. And then they fight this creature up and through. Of course, physically they're no match for him in those iron suits.
Yeah.
But I actually thought it was kind of cool with the code word. She ran to the command and control. He ran, and then they turned the I think it was a 5-incher right into the alien's head
Yes.
and
Into
blows him
his
away.
face.
Yeah, I mean that's a believable way to destroy something. Yeah.
Well, as
Oh,
long
by the way, why don't we have a Battleship 2 where that guy comes back together and lets him live again? Put all his pieces back again. Sorry, I saw that, so I had to do it. But it was really a cool thing. Although I didn't really believe the way he held on those wires off the side of the ship like
yeah,
that.
right. Well, and you have to assume that the alien can't hear that gun move, even
Mm-hmm.
if they're not entirely sure what it is. It moved, which I'm sure makes a sound of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's aimed at you or it's pointing at you. And they're intelligent enough to get here. So I'd be intelligent enough to go duck.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, come on now. But
Yep.
it's just it was done because it was very, very cool. And
Yep.
yeah, when they went down into the engine room, I assume they were trying to assess what the ship, how it was powered and how it worked. Or maybe they were going to sabotage it so that the ship would then be dead in the water. I have no idea exactly what they were trying to do. I will tell you, I loved the effect when the alien bangs into the door and pushes it off its hinges, the bolt
Oh
drops
yeah.
down the stairs. The cinematography is very cool, even if it's a funny movie. And then as the alien's walking down those metal stairs, it's subtly bending the stairs to show
Yep.
this is how heavy this thing is.
Yep. Oh, it's true. It was that's something that I did notice because it wasn't just a staircase. I mean, that thing bent those things are. So it's not just thick; it had weight to it, girth. You could
Yeah, it had
understand
weight to it.
why you could understand why bullets or nothing really could do anything to that. All these
Hmm.
aliens out technology us. So
Well,
um,
and I liked that when the gentleman down in the he told all of his guys to leave because he was the highest ranking
yeah,
person in the engine room, and then he tries to hit the suit because that's what most of us would do, and then
right.
he went for a bend where the foot was, and that was very smart because your thinking is there's a bend in that, so that's got to be the weakest point, which I thought
Hmm.
was very clever, very quick thinking, and
Hmm.
very, very brave. I mean, you already have
No,
seen what these aliens can do, and you're going to go after them with an axe, basically.
right. Right, absolutely. And there's all kinds of accounts of sailors and troops acting like that and that
Yes,
things over
yes,
the course of
absolutely,
history. Absolutely, because I mean,
absolutely.
I know that there was a account on the Yamato on its last mission, where they had younger white green people, younger coming in, and the old vets like, hey, you're not coming on the ship, goodbye. And a lot of
Hmm.
times to sacrifice for the others behind them, and
Correct.
people under your responsibility. I thought that was a good touch in this movie. I,
Yes,
I that was
I think
noticed very well.
they did show great respect in several aspects of this movie for people who are in the military, regardless if they're Americans or in this, they really focused on the Americans and the Japanese.
Hmm.
But how they treated members of the service, they did quite well in this movie with respect. And I very much appreciated that
Hmm.
because that doesn't always happen. The
Yeah,
higher ups are all they treat as
yeah.
dingbats. Liam Neeson tells one of them off on the phone and
Oh
some
yeah,
other stuff. But
yeah. That's
but
really going to happen.
the actual people down, on the ship, on the decks of the ships, and the people, the gentleman who's the double amputee, they treated them with respect.
Yeah,
Oh,
and the
I have
acting
something
might
to
not have.
say after this one. Go
Oh, and
ahead.
the acting may not have been the best, but to me, I thought he was okay. I thought he was good to come off as angry. I thought the acting was good in this part, but I mean that's just me though.
So
But go ahead, Daisy.
my husband actually ran into this gentleman at the airport. My husband used to work at the airport. He's
Oh, the
retired now.
actor
The actor, yes. So this gentleman, who's not an actor,
Gregory
he
D.
really
Gadsden.
he was injured for real in the service.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Well, what did you say?" And he goes, "Well, normally I'm pretty good, but I got a bit starstruck." So he just sort of went, "Wait, I recognize you." And the guy goes, "In this," he said, really deep voice, "Battleship." And John goes, "Yeah, my wife and I really liked the movie." And so he was very sweet. He did say this man was huge. I mean, in the movie, he looks big. He's big,
Oh yeah,
tall, the whole thing.
yeah,
And then, he's trying to catch a flight, and my husband's trying to go someplace else in the airport. So it wasn't a long conversation.
yeah.
But
No, that
yeah,
that's neat to hear though. That it's always neat when you meet somebody in real life that's on a movie and they really are nice people.
mhm,
You hear mostly about the bad cases, but
yeah.
it's really really cool when you hear about the really good
But
ones.
I do think, as Wes Cagle says, the way that he acted. Yeah, and I said that this whole scene with the physical therapist. So I'm actually in a wheelchair, and the first thing I said was, "Oh, physical therapy sucks," and nobody likes their physical therapist. And his, "Hey, I'm only half a man now" thing, I can understand that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that it was nice to add that into the movie, that why bother attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So she takes him out for the walk and they go up in the hills and then they end up meeting the aliens. But, you know, um, they handled it well, regardless of whether or not the man's actually an actor. There were some other people in this who theoretically were actually actors, and they didn't come off so great either. So,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is.
Oh no, I got you. I understand that very, very well. Make sure y'all hit that like button, folks. Thanks for being here tonight. We got Daisy Blossom here with us tonight talking Battleship. And further as this movie advances, oh shoot. They're still trying to get basketball officials. Anyway, sorry about that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so as we go forward, we basically, there's really not a lot to say about this one without overcoming. Basically the aliens start killing people, and then then they start taking out important targets like the Marine Air Base, the roadways in Hawaii. They you know, so we're left
Mm-hmm.
to our one ship left in the war zone, and our heroes on the hill, and of course the one scientist guy with his box to make a call out. So
My
they
property.
so exactly, and he uses it as a weapon later, which is kind of
He
cool there
does.
for that. But they well, basically we got the John Paul Jones hid out a while. Then they learned the two of the three bad ships coming in and used. Now, how do you describe that? I mean, water, because like you said, your husband said that there's no way there's that many tsunami buoys, but I mean, they used the water displacement or something and started launching missiles at where they expected it to be. And hey,
Well,
they blew
the
up two of them.
the idea is that there are actual NOAA buoys out there for tsunamis.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, around Hawaii, and I'm not sure whether they're in California, the West Coast. They might be as well, um,
Mm-hmm.
because major earthquakes can launch tsunamis. We all know this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the idea of the buoy is, if the average wave height on any given day is a specific amount, and it pushes the buoy up or down greatly, then that's water displacement, how much water is moving. And if you see a pattern for these buoys, it means there's an incoming tsunami, and then you would warn
Mm-hmm.
everyone to get to higher ground.
Right.
So, yes, they're out there, but the idea of using, first of all, as my husband said, having that many buoys out there would make boating very difficult because you'd be constantly running into those things. The other thing is, without knowing the exact space between the two, you'd kind of have to know which side of the buoy was getting hit with the water, which way are these waves going, to
Mm-hmm.
guess where to fire.
Right.
Because, and you also have to assume, because they said the John Paul Jones can't see the aliens' location, and the aliens can't see the John Paul
Right.
Jones either. Why do they not see? I understand why the humans can't see anything. Well, sort of. But why would the aliens have knocked out their own ability to figure out where the silly humans are? So you have to assume
No.
that they can't see the humans either.
Well,
So
Buddy said that was cool. He liked that it was a known thing to general public, yet an unknown thing for the scope and use of them for the Japanese military.
yes, that they were being sneaky was very cute.
Yeah, that was
And
very interesting.
it did make sense that the Japanese would know more about it too, because they are more prone to earthquakes and tsunamis. So if someone was going to figure it out, it would make sense that it was the Japanese, and then that they
Yeah.
wouldn't say anything, because then they can play this in their war games as to where
Hmm.
the Americans or other ships are.
Well, now we take a look at the third ship, which was too elusive. It dodged it all, so they ended up running
Yeah.
took it onto the rocks, basically, Copton. And we
Hmm.
to the east, so they timed sunrise because they couldn't see. Interesting plan. I loved it. They finally brought the flipping torpedoes. You got the torpedoes ready, and so the alien ship landed right around the corner. And as sunrise came right up, and then of course we got two 50 calibers. I got the 50 calibers, but they described it as sniper rifles. The two Alex and Nagata blows shoot out the alien windows, which blind the crew there, and we see the wonderful like I think that's part out of the game of the image of the missiles coming straight at you too, because I think there was one
Hmm.
ad with the missile because you got rockets firing, you got the torpedoes in the water, you got missiles straight level, and it's like boom, just blew hell out of the third.
Yep.
And so we think, hey, we're done, right?
Sure, we are.
And then what happens? Your favorite little boogers, the little drone thingies. Let's see. Take a
Yes,
look.
yes, they
Yes.
fire out the little ball things.
Oh yeah,
Well,
because
the
I
other
mean,
thing is you have to assume whether they were sniper rifles or 50 cal that they would go through the windshields, that the aliens didn't have thick enough windshields to stop bullets was kind
yeah.
of amusing.
No, I agree. I that was one of the things that it's how do they know that it would penetrate? I mean, that's the other thing.
No, they didn't, but that's okay.
But it's okay. It's a movie. Sit back and
It's a
relax.
movie. It's a movie.
Like MST3K tells you, just sit back and relax. It's just a movie. Try not to explain it. Enjoy it for the goofiness for what it is.
It
Yeah, here
was.
we go. Let me see. All right, here's one of the pictures here. Here we go. Here's now. This is where it's coming down on the job. I believe this is when. This might be the Samson earlier in the movie, but these are the drones coming down after one of the shows. I don't think it's the John Paul Jones because it's earlier in the day, not at sunrise. But see, here's your drones here,
Yeah,
and
those
these things
things.
hit the ground. They tore through the metal, went through the ships, actually ran on the land, tore up massive interstate highways. What did you think with
Yep.
these?
Well, they look really cool. I mean, it's just those things look cool. We actually saw, it was years ago, some group of tech wizard nerd types got together and made one of these that you could actually sit in, and it would run a short distance with the lights flashing and stuff. It's just really cool. I do have to note when they hit, I think it's the Marine base, when these things go rolling across the deck and taking out all the helicopters.
Right.
I turned to my husband and said, "Wait, after Pearl Harbor, they don't park them that like that, right?" And he goes, "No, no, they do not. And that's why they don't. Because the Japanese strafed all of the planes and things because they were all parked in a row like that.
Right.
So
They
in
were
this movie,
they were
when it
gearing
goes
for anti-sabotage measures, is what they
right,
were saying.
right
Yeah.
after that, they started going, well, don't park them that way. So they should already be on high alert, and they have all the helicopters just sitting there in two very nice rows, so these alien rolly balls can take them all out.
Folks, this is my great co-host and friend, Daisy Blossom Flower Child. Rolly balls, and there you go.
Dinghies, rolly balls, and dinghies. That's what
There
you
you
come
go.
here for, my stellar
Exactly.
commentary. Well, I don't
But
know what to call them.
see,
Bowling balls
I
that
didn't
light
notice.
up.
I didn't notice. I didn't even think of that angle of it, especially with that being Hawaii. And
It's
also,
Hawaii.
I did notice you also said deck when they hit the deck. That is very. You tell
Is
your
that very naval, right?
yes, exactly.
I did. I also said
Dinghies
if the
have
ship
rolly
was dead,
balls. That's
the
for the next stream later, Fallout Dave.
the ships being dead in the water. I do know a few
Yeah.
naval terms. I just don't know what to call the. It's not a dinghy. I know. I just couldn't think
Yeah.
of what they called that thing.
Yeah.
My husband would be very displeased if he knew I called that a dinghy. That's okay to annoy him. There's a joke later, and I looked at him and laughed.
Oh yeah.
So he went to take me to see his ship when it was in it was in San Francisco at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was a ship, okay? But to be annoying, I called it a cute little boat.
Oh
Because
gosh.
I
Yeah.
was being funny. Well, then it's one of those little jokes between you, and he
Oh yeah.
turns and he looks at me and he goes, "It's a ship." And I went, "Okay, so when does a boat start to become a ship?" And he was it was because I was being British. But when we met all of his friends, I called it a ship. And
Right.
so later he goes, "Oh, for them, you'll call it a ship." And I said, "Yeah, because I know it's a ship." But during this movie,
Uh-huh.
he tells the old crew of the Missouri, "I need to borrow your boat." And I look
Yeah,
at my
he did.
husband and he goes, he would not call that, "I need to borrow your boat."
They probably punch him out, you know?
That's correct. That's exactly what my husband said. That would be an insult. You do not call the Missouri a boat.
Wow. Exactly. Which they do have to do because the mother ship, the sword, shoots the alien thingy rolly balls that actually go on. I love when the kid looked at it, Dad, just looking at it in terror.
Dad's probably running.
Yeah.
Dad is either running or he hit the deck.
Exactly. Dad. Hey, they all did. Everybody let the kid, the umpire, they all let the poor kid on the field by himself.
He
heartless
wasn't
people.
the only one. There were a couple of kids out there that were just
Right.
going, "Where the heck are all the parents?"
No, every kid for themselves, you know.
That is right.
Oh, jeez. Well, so we end up, they make their way back. They got the Missouri. Now, okay. Okay. They basically, long story short, let's do it this way to get to the end of the movie, and then we can dissect the scenes because this really is a movie that's not an Oscar winner.
Sorry.
It just happens, and we're better off just to talk about scenes and remember what we like. But if you've not seen it, how it ends with they end up somehow recruiting these old retired Navy veterans, get the friggin' battleship USS Missouri out of mothballs in a span of a couple hours, maybe, gets it out to sea at flank, and they started from flank speed. How the hell do you start from flank speed in the harbor? I don't know, but
you don't. But that's okay.
But they go out. The battleship drops an anchor, makes a 90-degree turn.
Sure, it does.
Because it was being targeted, then it pointed its guns away, and so okay, we're going to ignore that threat coming at us after we just targeted it, and then it drops an anchor, spins 9 degrees completely to the left on a dime at flank speed, and unloads broadsides and stuff. So
was a beautiful broadside, though.
It was beautiful.
It was a beautiful broadside.
So we basically have that going on. They finally take out the big ship. They also shell the telecommunications, so they stop the ET phone home, and we end up with victorious again over the alien mobs. And we're going to dissect that a lot more, Daisy. I just figured get to the end of the story, and then we can pick any parts. Of course, at the end, Alex now is a hero. He's lieutenant commander, promoted to, given a silver star. Thank God they didn't do the CMH, and his brother's posthumous Navy Cross. So, then he's told he will have a ship of his own soon. So,
right, sure.
So then he asks for marriages. The admiral initially refuses, but invites Alex to lunch. So let's take a look at some of the people while you go through your notes and any of the other scenes that you want to make sure we get. By the way, the drones that were coming down to destroy the Missouri were destroyed by Boeing FA-18 fighter jets.
Nice.
And they did. They carpet bombed the mothership. How the hell? Okay, now I'm more World War II fighters and stuff, but I guess I would think an F-18 would use missiles. I don't think carpet bombing sounds like something they did in World War II. Now, somebody that might be more the modern military might be able to, because I looked at that. It did look like they just dropped a damn, like a Dauntless dive bomber dropped a bomb flying over it. But I thought we use missiles now. Anyway, but they did say it here, carpet bomb the mothership. But by the way, Taylor Kitsch played Alex Hopper, the highly spirited yet undisciplined U.S. Navy weapons officer. Alexander Skarsgård was Commander Stone Hopper, his older brother, who was always protecting him. Rihanna was gunner's mate, second class Cora Rakes. Brooklyn Decker as Samantha Shane, physical therapist. Alex's girlfriend and the admiral's daughter. Tadanobu Asano was Captain Yugi Nagata, commanding officer of the Mayoko. His rival turned friend Liam Neeson, or I say Qui-Gon Jinn as Admiral Terrence Shane, commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. I think basically that's probably Gregory D. Gadsden played Lieutenant Colonel Mick Canales, the U.S. combat veteran and double amputee. Peter McNichol was U.S. Secretary of Defense. It was interesting to see.
Yes.
It's a very he's been in a lot of stuff as a character actor, but it's the first time I saw him play as a badass. Like he had to be like he was a tough guy. Usually he's like the geeky or the wuss. Yeah, exactly. Daisy minces no words with that. So hey, so yeah. So yes, you do, Wes Cagle. Next time you come down, you gotta say when you're in the area. So yeah, but yeah. So not okay. Such says they can't use guns there, so we use durians, potted plants, etc. Yeah,
I can understand.
Those durians are tough. Yes,
use what you have.
Peter McNichol was Galen Brandwarden and Dragon Slayer. All right.
Yeah, well, the younger hot-headed brother is it John Mars? He was in the movie John Smith from Mars. What the heck was that movie he was in?
Which one?
The younger brother.
That
played
Alex Hopper in this one?
Yes, Alex Hopper. He was in John Carter. John Carter from Mars.
Yeah, John Carter. Yep.
That's where I recognized him from.
Oh, really?
Yep.
The movie that nobody
Especially
watched.
In the beginning when he had long hair. He looked exactly like he did in John Carter. He had long hair like that.
Well, speaking of the role of Alex Hopper was originally supposed to be played by Jeremy Renner.
Oh.
He was originally considered for the role.
That would have been interesting.
But he got the role with that. Of course, the director, Berg, explained how he came up with casting Rihanna was realized she could act after her appearance on Saturday Night Live. She accepted the role because she wanted to do something badass and also because it wasn't a role too big for her to play. WMPT U.S. Army Colonel Gregory Gadsden, like Wes had alluded to, a real person had never acted before. And see, that's the other thing is too, guy had never acted before, so we give some credit for that. And plays Lieutenant Colonel Mick Canales.
The people that they used on as the old crew of the Missouri, those gentlemen had actually served on the Missouri.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, according to what I read. Now, of course, you can't believe everything because I wasn't there. But from what I read, those were people who had served on the Missouri.
Because I noticed one of them had the USS North Carolina battleship hat on. So,
well, they might not have all been from them. It's just the way I read it. So, but that they actually were vets.
Yeah.
So.
It says the U.S. Navy sailors were used as extras in various parts of the film. Sailors from assorted commands in Navy region Hawaii assisted with line handling to take Missouri in and out of port for a day of shooting. So they really did shoot it at the open waters. Wow.
Well, you can actually
2010.
You can't those the engines do fire. Now, they wouldn't have had that much ordnance on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
museum, but
Hello, bro. Good to see you tonight. Good to see you tonight.
but they do fire the engines every so often.
But hey, guess what? Guess what? Yeah, well, yeah, because they did have some rounds in there too. But hey, Fallout Dave. They put out they like I said, Hawaii had some people handling the Missouri in and out. A production team put out a casting call for sailor stationed at various sea commands at Naval Station Mayport, Florida, to serve as extras. Whoa, Dave, Northeast Florida represented. Sailors were also taken various ships stationed at Naval Station Mayport, Jacksonville, Florida, namely the Hugh City, the Kearney, and the Vicksburg, were some of the ships that provided sailors for extras in here. So, of this movie.
Cool.
So, hey, really, really interesting to see. And yeah, it was. I did. You couldn't help but get a lump in your throat for the veterans, though. You know.
Yeah, and I think they again treated them with respect in the way, you know, these young guys who are not used to this very old ship, and these older guys are like, yeah, this is how this is done.
Well, like the one guy,
when the guy said they won't sink, I think he said they're not gonna, which is my quote. They're not gonna sink this battleship, no way, because they're built differently than the modern ones. But I thought how they were showing how they would start it up and all that, and yeah, right. It would take a lot longer to start that ship than. Yeah. But yeah, I thought they showed proper respect to.
I like the one of them said to the other, "Hey, quit working, quit just standing there, just get work." You know, it's like boom, yeah, exactly. And no, they didn't invade here. They didn't invade here. The actually part of the extras people in this movie that acted, a lot of the extras were from Northeast Florida, from Mayport Naval Station. So no, we have not had alien invasions. Of course, I haven't heard any more about drones off the East Coast, but that's another topic for later. So, and Sashi's got to head off to grocery shopping. Might stop by at the mall where everything's half off. Take care, Sashi. Great to see you. Great to see you tonight.
That's good. May the force be with you always.
Exactly. Absolutely. So basically,
I like the gentleman who wandered in and said, "Are we about to fire on Oahu?" And the other guy goes, "Looks like it."
I love that.
Okay.
They did so good with those guys. I mean, it was like really, really cool to give them that dry sense of humor. So, yeah, because it was, let's see, there was one thing because they did the Navy veterans. I would assume that the whole thing on that was that they were touring. They were quote museum workers at that point. Yeah. But the fact that they got involved there was really, really interesting. Brings up other points that I'll wait to. Let's talk about production real quick. It was greenlit with a budget of $150 million. Went through a troubled pre-production. At one point, Universal considered canceling the film, which would have resulted in a $30 million loss. However, they decided the studio would lose less money if they increased the budget of the film instead of canceling it. So they were going to film in Australia's Gold Coast, but changed location due to a lack of Australian tax incentives and a high estimated budget of $220 million. So filming took place between Maui and Oahu, as well as on the mainland, and a few apartment scenes, Sherman Oaks, California, and a driving scene along with a shootout in Playa del Rey, California. And some scenes were filmed in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I bet you the bar scene was filmed in Baton Rouge. What do you think?
The bar scene. You mean
at the beginning? At the beginning.
Oh,
at the
yeah,
beginning.
that's probably true. Because I was thinking, what would they film there? But yeah, could have been the bar scene.
Yeah.
That's odd. You can't find a proper bar in either California or Hawaii.
I know there's one in Dutch Harbor that kind of has a bad reputation, but hey, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Filming was done on the USS Missouri. Also, featured in the film were guided missile destroyers, the USS Benfold, DDG-65, the USS John Paul Jones, DDG-53, and the USS Sampson, DDG-102. So I'm thinking the Benfold must have played the Japanese ship then.
It probably did,
No,
yeah.
no. Well, it said a Congo-class destroyer of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force also appeared in the film. So, okay.
Oh, okay.
They didn't do what they did in Gojira -1 with, it has no weapons. But that's Burger said, I'm from Baton Rouge. We have great bars. Yes.
That I don't doubt. It's just if you're worried about how much money you're spending, why would you move the production all the way to Baton Rouge while you're doing most of your filming in Hawaii or in Hollywood, Southern California?
Mm-hmm. So that's basically it in the gist of the movie. So, folks, please share with us your thoughts and opinions. So let's see. Sashi said this earlier. Bet you can't put Maul in your fruitcakes and porta potty show, Dad, man. He wouldn't fit in. Never tell me the odds. Never say never. So while you're going through your notes, let's go back to things that you want to hit. And we'll bring stuff up. Folks in the chat, feel free now. Random fire. I mean, what did you like about this movie? What did you not like about the movie? What scenes did you like? What did you not like? I'm going to start with one real quick that it hits me. Oh my gosh. Well, no, let me hold that a second. Video game, of course, there's a video game based on the film to coincide with its release. Of course, we know the board games. Mm-hmm. Well, here's a list of accolades, list of awards. Yeah, I would not have loved that they filmed there. Yeah. All right. Annie Awards. I'm not sure what the Annie Awards are. Best animated effects in live action production. Mm-hmm. They actually received some of the people.
Well, they should.
The people, go ahead.
Yeah, for like cinematography and special effects and the designs of. While I thought it was incredibly odd that aliens that could fly through space.
Well, they were nominated. I'm sorry. Looking back, this is the dumbest graphic I've seen. They were nominated for best animated effects in live action production for the Annie Awards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But the aliens themselves, the ships didn't fly; they jumped in the water.
Yes, exactly.
So, which was like.
They're like dolphins.
Well, it was just an odd thing that ships that could fly, from one star system to another, and then you deposit your ships and you can't fly through the air like a fighter jet. You have to hop around in the water. But whoever designed these things, they looked menacing. They almost had actor-like faces. They would open and close doors, and they would suddenly have little pointy objects come out as if they were speaking. So I think they should win some awards for that, because the design of these things was really cool.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say, Brogan. Yeah. But yeah, Clobby would have supported it. Yeah, we call it auto incorrect. Exactly.
Auto incorrect. Yes.
Yeah, it changes everything itself. Some of the other awards it was nominated for: Golden Trailer Awards, Best Sound Editing, Best Summer Blockbuster 2012 TV Spot, Houston Film Critics Society for the worst film.
Yeah, it got Razzies. I read that. Yeah, well,
hey, speaking of the Razzies, 6 categories. Golden Raspberry Awards. Worst Picture.
Oh.
Worst Director, Peter Berg. I have set skills. Acting is not one of them. And telling everybody to use a weapon, but I play it in TV and movies all the time. I can do that. Liam Neeson. Worst Supporting Actress, hypocrisy. Anyway, Worst Supporting Actress, Brooklyn Decker was nominated. But this movie gave us the winner for Worst Supporting Actress of Rihanna.
Well, I think the worst supporting actor they nominated was the physical therapist, right?
No, the winner was Rihanna. The
Oh no, I know. Didn't you said another name
yeah,
besides
Brooklyn
Rihanna?
Decker. Yeah. She was also nominated for Worst Supporting Actress. Yes.
Okay, the reason and during the movie I kept looking at John going, now she's an actual actress. She had two faces. She had lovey-dovey and she had surprised, confused blonde. Uh, I mean,
Yep.
I'm like, come on, girl, look in the mirror and practice some faces.
Yeah. Nope. Exactly. If you're gonna
I
get
think
into it,
she should have won, not Rihanna.
I don't think
I
she's
think they,
done it. I don't think she's done anything since this. I don't know what Brooklyn Dexter's played in since then.
but I think her acting was worse than Rihanna's. I think Rihanna won because she's a singer and they were just ticked.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought
She
Decker
did
was.
not. Her acting was better than the physical therapist blonde.
I agree. Well, worst screenplay, John Hober and Eric Hober were nominated, and worst screen ensemble, whatever that means.
Worst. Say it again now.
Worst screen ensemble.
Oh, that would mean the group of like the main actors as an ensemble cast, meaning all of them. So instead of picking out individual ones of them that weren't acting well, the whole group was awful.
See, I think the problem is Alex Hopper, the wild guy character. I think he was just not the right actor for it. I think it all stemmed from him. And I tell you, I think that they went overboard with his being a rebellious thing. I mean, it got annoying. Like the soccer match, I had to I just, that was, it's one thing to show somebody that's a butthead, but to be like that bad, or the next day coming up in front of everybody with the sunglasses on still, I mean,
my husband had lots to say about how the Navy would handle that guy.
He would have made it on the ship.
Dishonorable discharge by.
He wouldn't even made it. So
that's correct. That yes.
Brogu said, I think she's a beautiful woman. Wonder where she was in this movie. Yes. Rihanna was in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now that would have been award worthy. Yes. I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space. One that Hungry and I have talked about a long time ago. The Saturn Awards. Honoring the best in science fiction, fantasy, and horror film and television 2012. Okay. Best special effects, they were nominated for that. Teen Choice Awards, Choice Movie Breakout, Rihanna won. Yay for Rihanna.
Well, that would make sense because back in 2012, I mean, I didn't really listen to her music. So, yeah, I agree with you. They do think it's a music video, so how hard can it be to act? They're not the same skill.
Well, see, she wanted it a challenge, though. She, and that's kind of cool. I mean, it looked like she went into it wanting something and want to be legitimate, but it said that also where she didn't it wasn't like she was trying to play Gone with the Wind or something like
right, and she wasn't trying to be the main actress carrying the whole movie,
right?
Yeah,
so right.
That was good.
The other Visual Effects Society, outstanding visual effects in a visual effects driven film, and outstanding effects in simulation animation in a live action feature motion picture, both nominations for this movie. Yeah. All right, so now while we got 13 people, make sure you follow us on the Twitch side. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe on the YouTube side. Daisy, take a look at what you want to take your notes. I'm going to try to go to a scene that I talked about, and I was wrong up front because I said to drop an anchor and spin 180 degrees. I was not correct. It's like, well, who cares? Half of 180 degrees is a hard-ass right turn. Oh, here we go. You got to look at this. 90 anyway. Well, here degrees. I got discouraged by this.
You want me to talk about the water resistance?
Well, look, in a second I'll bring out the picture for it. But like this, it's like, dude, he's even. I mean, I know he got in a fight there, but still, look at the hair. Just and
what
okay.
About his hair?
Now, look how messy it is. Now I don't know about the. Okay, now I'm going to touch it. Could be a sensitive topic. I don't mean to be sensitive topic, but with this, but you know, I know tattoos are a big thing these days and all, but it seemed like to me, Alex had tattoos that were very visible. Unless it's a newer, I mean, I thought officers, especially at this point, maybe especially back in 2012, you would not have seen tattoos as prevalent on an officer, like on the arms, like was seen in this movie. I
Well,
just, to
when my
me,
husband was in the Navy, my husband did not get a tattoo. He does not have a tattoo, but he did go out with other people who got them. They got them in places where they could be covered by their uniform because they were not supposed to be visible. However,
right.
that was multiple decades ago. So I do not know whether naval rules have changed, but in the past it was they can't be where you can see them.
Right. So, but yeah, that was just something that kind of just jumped out at me a little bit. But it was one of those things that kind of got it just kind of just it
Well,
it didn't seem
the air
proper. I mean, none of the other officers had tattoos though in the movie.
well, true. I didn't actually notice that. It was more his whole
Yeah.
attitude against authority and the Japanese captain.
Hmm.
If that whole little fight in the bathroom had occurred, the Japanese captain wouldn't have been the captain of that ship. He'd have been marched back to you don't do this either. So that was the part.
Yeah.
But the American dudes, the Hopper, the younger
Hmm.
brother, his whole persona,
Hmm.
the Navy is not going to put up with that.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not
Yeah.
working at IBM or whatever.
Mm.
This is a military operation. And yes, people lose their cool and they do dumb things because they're humans. And if you're young, you can be hot headed, but they would not put up with his behavior. That whole, okay, we're going to let you do this exercise. And then when you get back, you're going to be in trouble. No, that helicopter would have flown him back to Pearl Harbor right this minute.
Hmm.
So I think they overdid that, but that would be the writing
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than just the actor. The actor's just going to perform the way they're told to.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Well, take it the good study of your notes, Daisy. Right here. This is the it almost looks like an artist animation clip, not a real scene from the movie, but we'll use it because the Missouri just threw its anchor down at those little battleship pegs were coming right at it, and it did a hard 90-degree left turn and avoided all those pegs into launch into the broadside
oh,
of
I
this.
think that's a drawing, yeah, rather than
Yeah,
them. That's beautiful, though, an
it
artist
is.
rendition. That's
Yeah,
quite beautiful.
it exactly.
Um,
But you picture it, it's going flank speed, drops anchor, makes a 90-degree turn to port and broadsides here. I mean, it's okay. Tell us about
okay,
the physics and everything.
I know why they did it. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure, nor does my husband know, because guess what? They didn't try this on his ship in the
Yeah,
Navy.
in the Navy,
How
you can
in the
sail the
Navy,
seven
yes.
seas in the Navy. Sorry,
Are you done?
I'm never done, Daisy. But go ahead.
Probably physics wise, dropping an anchor like that, the anchor where it's attached to the deck of the ship probably would have just ripped that right off,
Oh yeah,
wrecking your ship. But
yeah.
the problem is it very clearly shows an animation of it
Mm-hmm.
drifting the ship basically in a right turn or left turn. And you can see the animation of all the water build up because the side of that ship is moving through the water rapidly. So the back end is fishtailing around and the front end is supposedly anchored to the seafloor. With that amount of water pushing against that side, it would
Mm-hmm.
stop. It wouldn't. The whole physics involved in getting it to do that and not tipping the ship past its tipping over point.
Right.
Every ship has a degree after which, because like my husband was in the Pacific Ocean,
Mm-hmm.
they went up to Alaska in storms,
Right.
and he talked about how you're walking on a ship that's rocking back, going back and forth and back and forth. You're walking, 1 foot on a wall and 1 foot on a floor. There's
Mm-hmm.
a degree at which you can't push the ship anymore. It will tip over
Oh yeah.
and
Well,
sink. And
Yeah.
when you're smashing it against the water and you're pushing it through the water at that speed, the water's going to slow it down. And you need to be careful that when the ship does stop, it doesn't rock back in the other direction and
Hmm.
sink your ship.
Well, because I know that there are some. That's why they always try to plot weather, and they don't always go through
Oh,
the
no, they
storms,
don't.
and many times they try to avoid them. The
Yes.
recount of some of the one of the podcasts I listened to about the Pacific War talked about how they had a couple occasions where people didn't pay attention. Now it's before
Yeah.
satellites and stuff like that, but they had maps and things, and they actually had ships just capsize. They actually had some
Yeah.
that sunk because of the tsunami, not tsunamis. What do they call them over? We call them
Hurricane?
hurricanes, typhoons. Typhoons.
Typhoon.
The
Yeah.
typhoons were so strong it actually sunk the ships. The destroyers were the worst because they were a little bit top heavy and they go under. They couldn't handle it. And
Yeah, they can't tip as much.
hello, bear. Hello, Snort a Poopus Cuber. How are you
Hello.
tonight? Sorry, Daisy, I had to greet the bear coming in.
That's
So.
okay. Yeah, and they do try to turn them into the
Yeah,
wave, so they cut through the
yeah,
wave rather than broadsiding. But that's
and
basically what this
no,
ship was doing, was broadsiding, it
yeah,
creating its own wave,
yeah.
which I know why they did it. I absolutely loved watching that ship fire every single one of its guns all the way
Yes.
down the whole thing, and just the explosions and the sound. And yeah, I mean, I
Now
100% behind that.
that was
But
something I
how they
didn't.
got
That was something I didn't look up. I wonder if that was like real footage, if they really actually let them shoot, or if that was just simulated, like CGI or something. The
they
broadsides.
I don't know, because I don't know whether the guns are
Yeah,
quote unquote kept functional.
yeah.
Like they do actually start the engine. So
Well,
yes,
Buddy
that
said that
engine will fire.
Buddy said even if it did catch the anchor, it'd probably split amidships down to the keel from the force. Yeah,
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 it's
exactly.
you can't really do that. All they show is that eventually the anchor chain, it
Hmm.
disappears.
Right.
So
They
then
released it too. Yeah. Yes.
it would
Yeah.
only have one anchor.
Yeah.
But normally it would, yeah, it'd rip the thing off, it'd rip through your
Yeah.
ship, it would do all kinds of, but what they wanted was the shot
Right.
of it
Exactly.
firing all the guns all the way down. And it
Yeah.
was beautiful.
I would
But I
love.
don't know whether they keep the guns. Technically, yes, at some
Yeah.
point you could fire them, or whether that was just aim all the guns like they're firing and then they added the
I
special effect
I just
later.
love to go to Mobile, Alabama, and see this Alabama do something like that or turn the turrets. And Snore Poopin says hello to you.
Hello.
That's just stuff like yeah. So
Putty Tat says hi to Bear.
fond unicorn flakes. Just patch it up with unicorn flakes. That'll do it. That dude. Not been fired since '91 since the Persian Gulf. Yeah,
Persian Gulf.
I
Okay.
tell you, yeah.
See, I
So
didn't, my husband didn't think they were kept in operable condition, but he wasn't sure.
yeah,
Um,
I don't
he
know. I
saw he saw the Missouri. He did not go on it because they went out to oh my gosh, the name of the ship just left my brain. The one in Pearl Harbor
the
where you
Arizona.
go, the Arizona.
Yeah.
He went out to the Arizona
Hmm.
with other guys from the ship, out of
Yeah.
respect, of course.
Absolutely.
But he said they didn't go on the Missouri. They didn't have time.
There's actually another ship in Pearl Harbor I'd like to see, not just the Arizona or the Missouri, but the Utah. Buddy Hepburn had mentioned the Utah a long time ago on one of our
Mm,
streams, but it's actually I think still above the waterline. But they
mm,
just abandoned it. It was actually a target ship at that point. It was a battleship because it's named after a state, but it was like the Florida class. It was like a really old class. They were like not good ships, and but it was also a victim that day on that. So,
yeah.
but it was interesting. So that's what I had with this broadside, the physics and the movie. I still just it's just so funny and everything else. What other scenes do you have with your notes? What other things do you have that you want to talk about before we
Well,
grade
they
this
sort of
movie?
talked about it before when the older retired Navy guys come together um and walk up the deck to these young, modern naval dudes and dudettes. And Hopper says, "You guys have given everything, and it's not right to ask you to give more." And then Gentleman says, "What do you need, son?" "I need to borrow your ship." No, "I need to borrow your boat."
That one sticks out with you. I can
It
tell.
really, yeah, but I really liked, well, because it's not a boat, and he probably would have ducked you.
Yeah.
But and I'm surprised that a movie that did such reverence to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I think it was meant to be cutesy, like I did with
Yeah.
my husband, called it a
It's
boat.
never
But
cut cutesy to a naval person. Yeah.
right, and he's a naval person to another naval person.
Yeah.
And I didn't say that to anybody else in the
Well,
Navy. I
I
mean,
will
my
say,
uncle was in the Navy.
I will say that this, at least they did not try to fire the Tomahawk missiles. I could still, I don't know, maybe they could still fire it manually, the old turret guns and stuff. But you know what? That also got me too. Why did they have to run way up onto the alien ship? These battleships had an amazing distance. They did not have to get point blank range to shoot at the sucker. They could have shot it from a further distance. I mean,
Because
obviously
they
it would have
wanted that
raced to them.
beautiful cinematic broadsiding, firing everything at something that was really close.
Yeah, a couple times it looked like
Because,
they had like instantaneous reload too. But
well, yeah, and you don't.
yeah,
I did ask, but okay, so to go back to it, the reverence that they showed, and then while the older gentlemen were teaching the younger guys what they were going to do, and the young lady how to, come in here, and this is how we're going to, this is how we fire things on this ship. um that all struck me even when we saw it in 2012, that I really enjoyed all of that. And the sort of showing you, yeah, they didn't, I don't think they fired one of those.
oh, it was on the John Paul.
Oh, the John Paul
Yeah,
fired it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
You know
exactly. Because you
the
notice the sun's in the background.
yeah.
That's the sunrise when they're starting the missiles, the
Yeah, that,
firing, and
yes,
everything else.
that's right. I did notice that while the modern ships, when they fire, it's impressive. But when the Missouri was firing, that was amazing. I mean, I would not want to be on the opposing side of that firing at me.
Nope.
So, but I
I mean, we
really,
see it shell
enjoyed.
hit island, the land too. I mean, it really tore heck with the satellites,
Yes,
the telecommunications that they're trying to reestablish.
yeah, they didn't actually achieve anything. If you noticed, when they ran through with the Jeep and they were
Hmm.
taking out all of the wiring,
Yeah,
so the idea was, let's slow it down so that we have another 24 hours to fire at one of the warship would fire up into the hills on Oahu. And but the aliens got that thing up and running right away. I'm thinking, you wasted all of that and destroyed the car and yourselves and everything else, and you didn't really accomplish anything.
no,
Because they didn't have another 24 hours. They had to take it out now.
no. I know it was just. I thought it was a good premise, but yeah, it's like they really didn't accomplish
It
much
was
for
an
that.
interesting, yeah. I
I've
some
seen
of it
dumber
was.
movies,
Oh no, I've
dumber
seen way dumber
premises.
movies.
Yeah,
We like this movie. We watch it. It's there are some movies that, even though you sit there through the whole movie going, well, that can't happen, and that's silly, that you still just, there were some quiet moments that were amazing, mostly with uh the older Navy, when they were trying to get the Missouri up and running.
hmm,
But there were some very interesting parts of this movie. And of course, the special effects were amazing. I absolutely loved the designs for the alien ships. They made no sense in
hmm.
that they bounce around instead of flying or going under the water or in the air. The dome thing was kind of weird. Oh, that was the other thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that one weird giant ship created the dome, right? The idea
Right.
being that's kind of in the center of the dome. Well,
Right.
later that ship moves because they all go, I didn't think that one could move. Well, how
Yeah.
is it maintaining the center of the dome if it moved? Doesn't the dome move with it?
Maybe it's detachable,
It was still firing the sky beam
but
to make the dome.
what I'm saying is maybe there was a different detachable part that it could detach the ship and
I
fight,
don't know. It
but
looked like the
the main
same
ship held the
three-headed thingy. I don't know.
just same thing. Three-headed
The other
Hydra.
thing is that while they were standing on the decks of all the ships, you could see
Yeah.
the clouds. However, every
Yeah.
time they shot the dome from the outside, you couldn't see through it.
Oh,
And
really?
yet when you were in it, you
Yeah.
could see through it. That I know why they
Yeah.
did it. It's too hard to make it take the background out of everything. But there were
Right.
just things that were like, yes. And the problem is, most people sat through this movie going, this is just stupid. And eventually the movie did it's got a cult following. We're not the only ones who think it's a guilty
Yeah.
pleasure. There are a lot of people that are that way. And it sells, the DVDs and the Blu-rays and that kind of thing. Um, and it comes up in conjunction with other movies,
Right.
Um, we did Independence Day
Yep.
and Pacific Rim, although Pacific Rim's a different
Well,
thing.
see, and
But
Hungry and I did Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That really has become a cult
yeah,
classic. Yeah.
well, but there are movies that become what there's a reason we call them guilty pleasures, because yes, we're all going to agree it's never going to win Best Picture, but it's still fun to watch it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there are things in it. There's enough things in it that are very cool that
Mm-hmm.
keep your interest. So
Absolutely.
yeah, buddy, it
Absolutely.
is. It
Yep.
is a different. It's awesome in a different way. Pacific
Yeah.
Rim is, and that's kind of more of a kaiju giant robots movie.
Yes,
But
but everybody loves those things, you know.
oh
You know.
yeah, Godzilla all the way. Gojira. Everyone should go see Godzilla -1.
Yep.
You should all go see it.
Absolutely. Well, the missus actually had it on her first Insomniac Theater on 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Kojira -1. That was
Mm-hmm.
it was awesome. So, let's go ahead and in a few minutes we have, because we're going live with Late Night at
Mm-hmm.
10.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's make sure you hit your notes. But a few other things, but that said. Buddy said not even Scotty could refit the Missouri in time to leave the dock, much less be armed and battle ready.
That is correct.
Lagata said most games, video game to movie adaptation, don't work, but this was among the better ones. Even though
Yes,
it had nothing to do with the game, but it did. Go ahead, Daisy.
it did. So this is also Disneyland rides made into movies. They don't always go well if you take games and try and make them into movies, because someone in a comment somewhere further up said something about well, the aliens aren't very fleshed out in the board game, which is funny because of course there are no aliens in the board game, but it's hard to make a whole story around a game.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I believe Buddy said though that in the video game, I think this was about the time when we were talking about the video game. In the video game though, that they fleshed them out well. So
oh, see, I've never played the video game.
yeah, I didn't know there was a video game, but
I did know there was one, but I've never played it.
But yeah, it definitely has nothing to do with the regular board games, though.
Yeah. I didn't actually own the board game. My father and I actually made grids on paper, and we played the game that way. We drew where the ships were, and sat it so with our back to each other, and then just played the game that way because we didn't actually own the game. I saw the game and played it at my friend's house, so I know what the pegs look like, the white and the red pegs.
Well, I will say that I've been playing Battleship occasionally on the Steam game. on
Hmm.
some of my streams at night. So it's actually kind of cool.
It is a
Uh,
fun game.
it is a fun
It's
game.
for such a
Actually,
simple.
I let the chat shoot for me because they're better than I would be. So
Nice. For such a
exactly.
simple concept, I mean,
Mm,
it's actually very fun.
I like the way you decided to y'all can make it as a personal game. That's really cool that y'all could do that. I mean, it doesn't take. I mean, just
No, two
a moment to
pieces of
think about it.
paper and a pencil, and you draw a grid.
Yeah, I didn't even think
And
of it
then you
like
just
that.
remember how, in fact, I wrote down. So the aircraft carrier would be 5 spaces.
Mm-hmm.
The battleship is 4. The cruiser and the submarine are both 3 spaces, and the destroyer is 2. The
Right.
destroyers are always the hardest to find in that game because
Yeah.
they're only 2 spaces. They are very
Exactly.
difficult to find.
Absolutely, they are. Yeah, they. I mean, it's that. Those are the ones I want to get first to begin with. So
Yeah, yeah, you're always really happy when you sink that one first.
yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let us go ahead, folks. What do you think about this movie? Feel free to start rating it on whatever scale you want to rate it on. Daisy, how
Oh,
would
I
you rate
forgot
this?
about rating. Okay, so I'm gonna rate it on a guilty pleasure on
And make sure
levels
you
of
got all
just.
your notes cleared out, though. That you've talked about
Oh
everything
yeah,
that you want
I
to.
think I as we did it as we went, so I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Other than just odd, like they shut off the targeting system so they could switch to the. How would you get the information from the NOAA buoys if you couldn't? They said they couldn't. They couldn't make cell calls. They took out the satellite. Yada yada. Well, those buoys transmit to a satellite to NOAA. So if you can't contact outside, how do you get? Never mind. Those kinds of things. But it's hard with a movie like this because as if you're just looking at it as a movie, there are so many things that are like really wrong with it that it's not that great a movie. But for fun and just really cool special effects and just audacity, it's amazing. So I don't know what to give it as a grade. I mean, for effort, A plus for effort and ingenuity and pulling off all the wonderful special effects. But as far as like grounded movie, it's what do you give it? Did I lose you?
I hit the mute button earlier, so I
No,
didn't
I'm
cut you
going.
off.
I'm
I'm
going. I was
sorry.
about to say, "Uh-oh, chat.
Yeah, I'm
We're in
just like
charge of the ship all by
I
ourselves."
I know. Uh, usually I do popcorn buckets 5. I would say I'd give it 3 out of 5. I mean, it's a little bit above average, but I mean, I think 2.5 is too low, but it actually could be on the 3.5 for fun though.
That's what I was thinking. Is
Yeah.
as a movie, it's because how do you to be in the center? It would be a C to a C
Mm-hmm.
plus because the movie and all of the errors would drop it, and but the just sheer having fun with it
Mm-hmm.
on the special effects would put it up in the A's. So I'm guessing legitimately it's a C or a C
Yeah.
plus, which is basically what you're giving it.
Yeah.
But it's
No,
still fun.
I
So
got you. I got you.
Dad man and the mute button.
Yeah, it happens. So. But it's like, yeah, it's like an amusement park where I just sit back and enjoy without overthinking. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the
Yes.
old MSTTK theme song was just sit back and relax. It's just a movie after all. So, all
Oh, but
right.
you know one thing. Wait.
Yeah,
I
go
got to
ahead.
tell you one thing because I did find it. Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, when he's out breaking in to get the burrito from the Quickie Mart that
Yep.
closed, they
Right.
actually played the theme from the Pink Panther.
Yes, they did.
They were
Yes.
da-dun, da-dun,
Yeah.
da-dun,
He's being very
da-dun,
creative
da-dun,
and
da-dun.
sneaky.
If that was really clever, and of course, ACGC all the way.
Actually. Oh,
Okay.
self muting unicorn. What a concept. That happens all the time. Well, that is Battleship, folks. Thank y'all for being with us tonight, Daisy.
Mhm.
A blast as always. First time in a few months, and great to get back to it. Next month is kind of up in the air, guys, in terms of what day, what night, what movie we're going to look at. So you never know. Maybe we can be tempted in talking Darth Maul stuff, but I don't know. We'll put it out there when we decide to do it. Daisy, any other last thoughts or any other
No,
comments
I'm
here?
good. This has been quite fun. Thank you to you and to
Exactly.
chat.
Now I want to say take care of Human, but listen, turn around about 20, well, actually less than 20 minutes now. I'll be live again with the missus and uh, maybe others to have a late night with Dad Man. And you guys take care, and I hope y'all are well. And I hope to see you again very, very soon. Daisy, as always, thank you again for being here with me and my regular movie co-host. And until next time, see y'all later. Bye, all.
Bye.